Um, Good evening, members of the board. Michael Higgins of Castano, Quigley, and Shirami. Can everyone hear me okay?
We hear you, Counselor. But
Uh, I represent the developer for 68 Brunswick Street, 68 Brunswick LLC. Our architect had a last minute conflict, unfortunately, so we're not prepared to present tonight. Um, we did publish notice in accordance with the MLUL, so I just request that we adjourn to the next meeting with preservation of notice for the public.
Silver, what's your next available date?
August 1st.
Council?
August
All right.
1st is fine. And for the record, we'd agree to toll the period of time for the board to um, approve or make a decision otherwise on the application.
Would anybody like a motion to adjourn this case?
Move it. Second.
Chair.
Yes, Counselor.
I think you may want to ask if anyone in the audience has interest in this case, and then advise them of what it means to preserve notice, because they're not going to receive any further notice.
Council, would you do the pleasure of making that announcement?
If there's
Mr. Potter.
I guess if there's anyone in the public that has an interest in this case, they should raise their hand so they can be let in.
There are no raised hands.
Okay, I guess just for the public to be aware, this case is being adjourned to August 1st, 2024, and no further. The notice has already gone out, is being preserved, and no further notice will be provided via mailing.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Ms. Mejia?
Yeah.
Is there any other? Anyone
Did
else?
we vote it?
Did it take the vote?
We didn't take the vote.
Ms. Silver? Mejia?
Mr. Higgins is here.
I'm still here.
Yes. I think the motion had been done by Mr. Comesañas and the second was by Member Rivero. So Member Hardesty,
Yes.
Member Comesañas.
Yes.
Member Rivero,
Yes.
Member Torres,
Yes.
Chair Hall.
Yes. Is there any other cases seeking adjournment?
No.
Here, would you call the first case?
Yes, the time is now 6:15 p.m. The first item on tonight's agenda is ZBA 24-11, located at 58-108 Frontage Road, Block 5088, Lot 156.01 in the East Ward. The applicant is United Airlines, Inc. In the EWR Airport/Airport Support Zone, the applicant proposes additional signage for existing warehouse with accessory office. Applicant is seeking C variances for exceeding maximum permitted sign area ×2. Site plan approval is not required.
You want to? Counselor, is your team in?
Hi, I am going to look at the participants to see, I do see one hand raised and now two, and those are, I believe that's my team. I have Mike Krawich. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Michael. And Chris Ward is also here to answer questions. So once they come in and get set up, I will begin as soon as you guys say to move forward.
Mr. Madonna on your team?
Yes. So, hi everyone, Adam Fiella, Sills, Cummins & Gross. We are the attorneys for United Airlines, Inc., the applicant this evening. The subject property is 58-108 Frontage Road, Block 5088, Lot 156.01, and the property is located in the EWR/S zoning district. Notice was sent to all interested parties and published in the Star Ledger on June 25th and posted at the site on June 24th. And we submitted an affidavit of proof of service on July 8th. The application is for C variances for proposed signage to an existing warehouse and accessory office building. The application doesn't require site plan or any other approval besides these C variances directly relating to the signage. The existing building is not proposed to be changed in any way. The application is strictly for signage. The building was previously approved for one wall sign totaling 50 square feet, and the applicant is now proposing 2 new wall signs, each measuring 200 square feet, with individual channel letter signage area measuring 108 square feet each. So if you measure it as like a square around the entire sign, it's 200 square feet for each of them. If you try to measure just the individual letters, it's 108 square feet instead. Due to the property having one street frontage, only one wall sign is permitted, and each sign has to have a maximum size of 100 square feet. So C variances are required for the number and size of the signs. These signs are required for identification purposes for the applicant's customers on each side of the building. There's export operations on the southwest side and import operations on the east. Drivers from companies like that United Services or drivers from companies that United's customers use, like USPS, need signage like this to identify the site. And while those companies are remaining the same, their drivers routinely change. So United Cargo's clients and their vendors have several out-of-state customers and truck operators who are not familiar with the location. And even though the site only has one street frontage, it can be seen from multiple highways, which is why 2 signs are needed here. The location is just off the airport and on a remote dead-end road to a state corrections facility. Ultimately, the proposed signage would reduce traffic, especially large trucks and misrouted vehicles searching for the off-airport facility. We received one planning review letter from the zoning board's planner, Gerard Hazel of Nishwing Group, dated July 3rd. And the review letter opines that the sizes of the signs will be consistent and appropriately placed on the building, and the signs will be well integrated into the facades and overall design of the building. The board's planner also explained that the frontages are very large and a conforming sign would be inconspicuous, so the increased signage size is needed so the signs can be visible from the surrounding highway network. He concluded, in my opinion, these requested variances can be granted with no significant adverse impact on the surrounding area, and we agree with that and hope the board does too. So we have 2 witnesses tonight. The first is the applicant's architect, and we will try to keep this as brief as possible. So at this time, I would like to call Michael Krawich of SM Design and Consulting PC.
I'd like to qualify your witness, counsel.
Yes. Michael, can you please state
I'll swear him in.
Okay, yes. Sorry about that.
Could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm that testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your affiliation for the record.
Yes, my name is Michael Krawiec, spelled Krawiec. I'm the president of SM Design and Consulting PC Architects, located in Glen Ridge, New Jersey, approximately 5 miles outside of the city of Newark. I'm a graduate of NJIT University. I've been a registered architect for over 30 years. I carry approximately 43 licenses around the country. And my firm has done work in Newark and around the country for buildings from 1 million square foot down to small renovation type work. We're the architect of record for the interior fit out for this project for United Airlines.
Counsel will accept this expert as a.
Thank you very much. Mr. Krawiec, can you please describe the proposed signage that we are applying for tonight?
Yes, you has described it a little bit earlier. It is a sign as measured by the Newark regulations of 200 square foot. It's approximately half that size, but it is a backlit sign with small LED units. The approximate lumen number for each sign is 15,700, which equates to approximately 11 18-watt LED light bulbs. So it's not a very bright sign, and it's also covered by a plexiglass of both blue and white. It's a pin letter sign, so the individual letters of United and Cargo are written out, and of course the United logo globe. Each sign, there are two different facades the signs are located on or proposed to be located on. One is the front of the building, which is approximately, overall size of the building is approximately 32,000 square feet, and the sign is approximately 200 square feet. So it equates to about 6.6% of the overall area of the facade. It's kind of located inconspicuously around the corner, so you have to be right upon it from ground level off of Route 78, which is also frontage road, or it can be seen from above on one of the raised highways from approximately 400 feet away. The other sign is on the western facade of the building. That can be seen in two locations. One is on the approach around frontage road, Route 78, and/or it can be seen from the raised highway of Route 9, approximately 400 feet away as well. In neither, again, as Adam mentioned, these signs are primarily for wayfinding for drivers at night. So they're, safely can look to see where they're going to and find the location.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can
Continue.
pick up renderings. I know we did provide renderings for the board.
You want to share your screen?
Uh,
Are you able to? If not,
I am able to. No, unfortunately, I'm very challenged when it comes to computerized renderings. I'm still the old man with the drafting tools. So I don't have it, but I know we provided them to the board.
All right, oh, here we
Okay.
go.
There we go. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's sketch SK3.01, and the top elevation is the southwest elevation, which to the left-hand side shows really like the main entry to the building. And that's a blow up of just one section of the building. Again, the building's approximately 47 feet high, and I'm not sure, this section is probably 90 feet wide. And the sign, I believe, is 21 feet by approximately 7 as a rectangle. And as you can see, if you pan down slightly on that, it is a minute amount of area of the overall building facade. The lower
I believe you may have that quantified in terms of percentage. It's
Yes.
nowhere near 10%, right?
Oh no, it's less than 1%. It's
Thank you.
0.63%, and in fact, that's based on a 200 square foot. 200 foot is how the zoning ordinance asks us to measure the sign. If you look down at the United Cargo sign depicted on the sketch, the blue letters that say United and Cargo, those are pin letters. If you measured that in square foot, along with the logo, it's actually 75 square feet, not 105 square feet. We had blocked them out according to the zoning regulations, and that's why we came up with the higher numbers. But in any event, we're willing to state it as a 200 square foot sign, primarily because we think it's very reasonable in size and and not intrusive at all. The sidewalk area around the signs, the closest sidewalk is on the west-hand side, and that's 115 feet away from the building itself, and the frontage sign is 125 feet away. So you really have to be kind of close to the building to identify it. And while you can see it from the highway, again, at 400 feet away, these are not large signs by any means. The next illustration we have, if you pan down, so that's the overall building. And as you may be able to see in those ovals to the left and the oval to the right, those are the approximate locations of looking towards the building. Again, that's approximately 300 feet away from the building. If you can kind of make out midway between the cone of vision, there's the sidewalk depicted in like a grayscale. From that grayscale to the building is approximately 125 feet. On the left-hand side, if you go to the right-hand side, wall-mounted channel letters, sign 2 of 2. That same gray area to the building is approximately 112 feet. So, and realistically, in that area of the city, it's not a foot traffic area by any means. We don't anticipate anyone would be walking along that sidewalk at nighttime. So it wouldn't be offensive. Even driving, there's no glare from the sign. As I said, it's the equivalent of approximately 10 18-watt LED light bulbs, which again is not a high amount of light. If you pan down to the next visual that we have, Adam. Okay, so here are a couple of depictions of approximately how large the sign would loom on the front of the building up top. And then on the lower rendering, it shows the sign on the left-hand side of the western facade of the building. This is taken from Route 9, which again is approximately 400 feet away from the building. So as you can see, it's not very obtrusive at all.
Okay, that concludes our direct testimony with this witness. If the board has any questions before I call my next witness.
Before we proceed, I neglected to say, are there any supporters or objectors in the audience? Ms. Mahir, do you see any hands for supporters?
There are no raised hands.
Okay. Any objectors?
No.
Let the record show that Commissioner Robin Jones is now part of our.
Vice Chairman Hood has also joined us.
Would you, counsel, is there any board members have a question for the architect? Any questions for the architect? Okay, seeing none, counsel, would you like to call your next witness?
Thank
you
you.
all.
And do you want to open it to the public for this architect, or do we open it to the public for questions at the end?
There's no, at the end.
Okay. So my next witness is Mr. John McDonough. John?
Would you swear him in, counsel?
Yeah. Mr. McDonough, do you solemnly swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your affiliation for the record.
Sure. Hi there, everyone. My name is John McDonough. It's spelled MC, capital DONOUGH, and I am the project planner.
Counsel may qualify your witness.
John, you can go through your licensing and your educational background. I think the board knows you very well, but just to be clear, your license is current, correct?
Yes, my license is current in good standing, and I've been accepted in that capacity in front of this board and other boards many times.
Counsel, Mr. McDonough is well known in this board.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
McDonough,
Chair.
did you visit the site, and can you describe the variances that we're seeking today?
Yes, this is a pretty straightforward application. The applicant is asking for signage relief, but the signage relief is associated with enhanced safety, not necessarily over branding or sign clutter. But this sign package is going to serve an important purpose in a complex driving environment at the junction of Route 1 and 9 and 78, just north of the airport there. The sign package is going to be a very familiar brand that we see throughout the airport. And actually, I think reinforce the identity and association of the area with the airport. Airport and airport support are key objectives of the master plan here in the community, recognizing the important economic engine that this is to the community, to the city, and the regional importance of the land use as well. So this is going to be signage that will enhance a community asset and both a regional asset as well. In terms of the relief that the applicant is seeking, again, here we are in the airport and airport support zone district. The only relief that the applicant is seeking is as to the quantity of signs, where 2 are proposed, 1 being allowed based on the street frontage. But we do have effective frontage on 2 streets, 2 major highways, 1 being 1 and 9, the other being Route 78. The purpose of each one of these signs is to target drivers. They provide navigation aids, wayfinding, again, in a very complex driving environment that we've all experienced out there, to serve this land use, which is an important part of the transportation network, the logistics supply chain, where getting products in and out is of paramount public importance on a safety basis. So in that regard, these are going to provide for enhanced safety elements. The signs themselves are actually larger than what the ordinance would allow, but this is going to be on a massive building where they will have minimal, if any, effect of overpowering the building itself. We think the signage that's proposed at 200 square feet, whereas 100 square feet would be the maximum that's allowed, is appropriate on a building, a massive building on a massive site that could conceivably be subdivided into many smaller sites where we'd have many small signs in the area. So we think this provides a nice cohesion. It provides directional aids from 2 vantage points without violating any of those planning goals for avoidance of sign clutter or over branding. In terms of the positive criteria, we're going to reconcile this under the flexible C balancing test, where the benefits of the application as a whole would substantially outweigh any detriments. On the positive side, we see multiple purposes of the municipal land use law advanced here, including purpose A, the promotion of the general welfare, because each sign serves a purpose and provides clear and safe site identification, and as I said, navigation aids in a complex driving environment. Likewise, the advancement of purpose G, which is the planning goal for a variety of uses in appropriate locations, because the site is located at a transportation hub and good signage promotes safety and wayfinding. Additionally, I think the board can find advancement of purpose I, which is the promotion of a desirable visual environment, because the signs are tasteful, they are familiar and proportionate to the building and integrate with the overall building design and massing. Lastly, we see the advancement of purpose M, which is our planning goal for the efficient use of lands, because these signs are simple integrations to an existing building. We're not proposing any land clearing or any tree removal or any site disturbance here, but retrofit on an established building. Counterbalancing those positives with the negative criteria based on the visual evidence that you just saw, relief can be granted without substantial detriment to the area or the zone. The planning intent to avoid sign clutter or over branding is clearly met. It is a very simple, tasteful sign package. And as I said, many more signs could go here if the site were subdivided. So we see this as a clear-cut, better zoning alternative. And in that regard, we believe the sign package will reinforce what's there, enhance the safety aspect of the land use and the transportation environment, a nice comprehensive development package, which we believe meets the statutory criteria for relief, and therefore approval is warranted. That's all I have on direct, Council.
Thank you very much. That concludes our direct testimony. I have a very, very brief summation after the board's questions and any comments from the public.
Is there any board member that has a question? Are there any questions from the board? Council, you may proceed.
Thank you. So very briefly, I'll just wrap up. As you heard from our witnesses today, the proposed signage will help drivers identify this building from multiple highways. It's appropriate for this size building and uniquely located property. The signs aren't going to offend or affect anybody in this industrial area. The proposed signage is consistent and with this area, and I think the board's planner put it perfectly with what I stated earlier today. So for the reasons we stated on the record and for the reasons your planner opined in his review letter, we respectfully request that the board grant the requested variances for the two signs proposed today. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. There is no public, Ms. Mohier, is that correct?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Public comments, there is no public, for
There were
comments.
some raised hands.
Board, it's our time to go into meeting. Does anybody have any comments? Commissioner Rubiero.
Yes, in regards to the application, I roam around those streets here and there, being working for FedEx, right? I don't see how the sign could be a harm, but to actually help people looking for this particular warehouse. Although it'd be better to have a big 108 on the building and United, given the address a little better. But I don't see how this could be any. They're not asking for anything that shouldn't be there. So I will be in favor of this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is any other board member like to make a comment? Any other board member like to make a comment? I'll make a comment. It's straightforward. The planner captured it. It's a large building. The signage is not too big. It is needed on frontage road at that corner point of 78 and 109. It gets really dark back there. And for safety reasons, I'm going to be in favor of this application. Would anybody like to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion. Motion to approve ZBA-24-11, located at 58-108 frontage road. When there weren't any conditions, correct? So there it is.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
I didn't say, Commissars. David, that's a second.
Member Hardesty,
You're muted, Ms. Hardesty.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're
Member
muted again.
Shines.
Thank you.
Member Rivero,
Yes.
Member Torres,
Yes,
Chair Hall.
Yes. Your application is approved. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
You too. At this time, I'll turn over the chair to Chair Montfort.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner
Evening.
Hall, for opening up the meeting. Madam Secretary, you may call the next application.
The time is now 6:40 PM. The next item on tonight's agenda is ZBA 23-56, located at 592 Bergen Street, block 2660, lot 42 in the South Ward. The applicant is Benjamin T. Olagadeyo and Mary T. Olagadeyo. In the R3 zone, the applicant proposes the new construction of a three-story two-family. Applicant is seeking C variance for insufficient side yard setback, insufficient rear yard setback, exceeding maximum lot coverage, exceeding maximum front yard setback, insufficient front yard setback, insufficient shade trees, insufficient on-site shade trees, insufficient off-street parking, and exceeding maximum impervious front yard coverage. Site plan approval is not required.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Finding of facts, 592 Bergen Street. the Board of Adjustment made the following finding of facts with respect to 592 Bergen Street, which is located in Newark's Lower Cling Hill neighborhood on the eastern side of Bergen Street between Avon and Madison Avenues. The total site area is approximately 2,835 square feet. The surrounding land uses consist of primarily 2.5 and 3-story detached dwellings. Counselor, are you in?
I'm in. We don't have a counsel. I'm the professional responsible for the application, and I also have the owner of the property. My client also, I believe, is in also.
Counselor, we will ask your team, that your professional team, to raise their hand if they aren't in, so we can get them into be a part of the panel. Please accept the notice to bring you into the panel.
I'm in already. I believe it's in because I just saw him up on the screen now. Yeah, I believe he raised his hand already.
I see one, Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else?
That's it.
All right, sir, you may go ahead. Are there any objectors to 592 Bergen Street? Objectors, please raise your hand so that we may bring you into the panel. You have to accept the invitation in order to be brought in.
Can I continue now? Do I need to be sworn in?
Not yet, Counselor. I don't see any, Secretary. Not yet, Counselor. Madam Secretary, do you see any? I don't see any.
Yes, Miss Janice wrote for to follow, but she just logged back in.
She in or out?
Okay, no raised hands, Chair.
PP. I don't see any. Are there any supporters of the application for 592 Bergen Street? Please raise your hand so we can bring you into the panel. Please accept the invitation once you receive it. That is our only way to bring you in.
There's one raised hand, Chair.
Mary is what I see. Let the record show there's one supporter, to our knowledge. Counselor, you may open up.
Do I need to be sworn in as a professional?
No, we don't have to swear you in, Counselor. You may
I don't-
proceed with your open statement.
I don't think it's an attorney.
I'm not the. I'm a professional. I'm not
Where's
an
the
attorney.
at? I thought he was the attorney. Who's the attorney?
No. Well, we're not with the lawyer. We're not with any attorney. It's just myself, the professional that prepared the application, and then
Okay.
the property.
Mr. Plata, you may swear him in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your affiliation for the record.
My name is Babatunde Adewumi. The last name is spelled ADEWUNMI.
Can you state your affiliation for the record?
I'm the principal of Babs Engineering PC. We're located at 930 Stuyvesant Avenue in Union, New Jersey. And professional-wise, I'm an alumni of New Jersey Institute of Technology, class of 87 with a master's degree in structures. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey and in the state of New York. A licensed registered architect in the state of New Jersey, a professional licensed surveyor in the state of New Jersey, and a professional planner in the state of New Jersey. And all my licenses are current.
Thank you. You may proceed with your opening statement.
This application was we are more or less like seeking various C variants. And the question is, how do we got to this one? The lot in questions have been vacant for a long, long time, which is next door to Mr. Olagadijo's property. And then for many years, he's been maintaining the property. And then eventually, since it belongs to the city of Newark, he eventually approached the city of Newark and then asked if the property could be sold to him. And then city obliged him, and then they have him dedicated as the developer. And then they went through the councils, and then the approval was given for him to own the property and then develop it. And then the next thing for us to make sure that we can get it developed, we have to come before the board. Normally, this application is more or less like all C variances, and because there is no site plan approval, that's why we're before the zoning board today. For me to proceed, I would like to share my screen and then go through all the variances and then description of the properties and then what we intend to do with the property, including the architecture drawings that shows what we're proposing to be built in the proposed law.
You may share your screen.
Though a site plan is not applicable for this application because this is a two-family dwelling that we're proposing, but we had to prepare a site plan in order for us to identify all the variances that we're going to be requiring for this property. The first sheet on the plan on the site plan is sheet C1. Sheet C1. And on sheet C1, the things that on it is this 200-foot radius map.
Excuse me, Mr. Babatunde, did you submit this to us, or should we be labeling this as Exhibit A1?
No, we submitted this to you.
All right, proceed.
Okay. And then it's on sheet C1, we have the 200-foot radius map. We also have on the same sheet, we have the area view map that shows the property in question at this location. And then also on this same drawing, we have the zoning data, we call it the project data that shows the zoning chart. And then the size of the lot itself is 27 by 105, and it's 2,835 square feet. And then it's a vacant residential lot because, as I said earlier on, it's been a vacant lot for a long, long time and has been a blight to the community in that area. And in addition to that, Mr. Olagadijo has spent numerous times maintaining it. That's why you go there, you see that the property is clean when it wasn't purchased by him. Going through the zoning chart, the area, we satisfy the area requirement, the lot width requirement, the minimum lot width, the minimum lot yard, minimum rear yard. We'll be requesting for a variance. The minimum is 30, and then we providing 25.6. The maximum lot coverage is 50%. We're providing 63.97, in which we provide a variance. But we have mitigated the lot coverage by providing the required seepage pit as by the design required by the town. The minimum rear yard cover is 30% required. We're proposing 14. We don't need any variance on that one. Maximum building story 3. We don't need any variance for that. It's 3. Minimum area per dwelling is 1250. We're proposing 1420 1,417.5. We don't require a variance for that also. Parking, we're requesting a variance for parking. We're required to provide two. We only have a one-car garage and we're only providing one. So we're requesting for a variance on that also. The primary front facade, we're required to provide 30. We're providing 28.42, which is very de minimis, a very small, minute percentage of. Street-facing facade, we're requiring to provide 20. We proposing 28.42. Rear facade, 20%. We're providing 21.15. Non-street facing right side, 10%. We're providing 10.1. And non-street facing, we're required to provide 10. We provide 11.4. And then we have shade trees. We're supposed to provide a shade trees, but because of the location of the property and the parking area, and then the walk down stairs to the sidewalk, there's really no room to put any shade trees. So we request for a variance also, or a waiver. The second page, which is 62, more or less like shows the topographic or the survey for the area, the boundary and the topographic survey for the area, which shows that it's a vacant lot. There's a building to the left, as you can see because this is owned by Mr. Olagadejo. And then Olagadeyo, sorry, I said Gadejo, Olagadeyo, on the left side. And then there's another 3-story frame dwelling to the right of the building. And this is the empty lot in question. The next drawing shows the existing lot with the topographic survey on it that shows the elevation difference between the property. And this is the proposed site plan for the property. I'm going to, this outline shows the outline of the building. There's a balcony on the building, and this is the stairways, and then all the utility connections. The seepage pit that I mentioned earlier on is at the back. And then we also have the refuse area in which is 6 cans of refuse. 3 will be used for regular garbage, and then the other 3 will be used for recycling. The next plan, which is sheet C4, shows the lighting configuration of the proposed property. You can see at the back it's well lit.
Mr. Babatunde.
Yes, sir.
For the sake of this application, let's focus on the 4 areas where you're requesting a variance. If you're not requesting a variance for lighting, let's not, go deep into this plan. Let's get back to let's focus on the 4 areas where you're requesting a variance, right? So that we can justifiably hear the variance request. Your lighting is not an issue.
The area that we requesting for variance is the minimum rear yard, the maximum lot coverage, the parking required, the primary front facade in terms of primary front facade, and then the shade trees.
All right, let's start with the shade trees. You're in a residential area, and you're saying you cannot provide a tree in a residential area, and you want a waiver for that. And we need trees in the city of Newark. You really have to explain to us why we should not. We should grant a waiver for you not to provide a shade tree with a 2-family home in a residential area.
The shade trees.
Why you cannot provide this shade tree?
Okay. The reason why we're not able to provide shade trees is this. This is the driveway. and then it goes all the way to the, so within the driveway area, we cannot provide any shade trees. And this is the walkway right here also. And underneath the walkway, we have all the utilities going right underneath also. So there's really no space to put any shade trees between here and here, which is the limit of the property. And then in lieu of providing the shade trees, we ready to donate to the tree fund of the city.
Now, can you show us that same format with a visual and not from the site plan, not from the plans? Can you give us a pure visual, a photographic visual of the area you're talking about?
Let me see if I can. 1 second. So, let me stop this share and then try to share another screen. This is the visual of the property as it is right now. This is the vacant lot as it is right now. This is the Mr. Olagadeyo property, and this is the property in question that we're proposing a new development at. And then you can see as it is now, everything is there's what do you call it, the press curb that's more or less like it looks as if some people were using it for parking because nobody was using it or claiming responsibility, being the property of the city of Newark. I would like to share another screen now.
Here, can this be marked as an exhibit?
And then as you can see here, this is the property in question. And then the same picture that I showed earlier on. And then this is the proposed structure. As you can see this before, and then if we are allowed our approve tonight, this is the way the structure is going to be in front of it. And then you can see within these areas from the walkway and then from the garage, it's practically impossible to put any shade trees in the front. That's why we are planning to contribute to the tree fund of the city of Newark.
So I'm gonna come back. Ms. Juma. Ms. Juma.
Yes, Chair. This is Nama Juma, zoning officer speaking. Just for the record, your secretary did mention to Mr. Babs that the Google map that he was sharing would be marked as an exhibit. And also I would ask, as he flips through the images, can he describe what it is he's showing on the screen? So for instance, he brought up a picture of the site and a proposed rendering as well.
Thank you. I didn't hear you, Madam Secretary, but the Google map, we marked that as Exhibit A1. Mr. Babatuni, correct me if I'm wrong. So your applicant owns the house next door also.
That's correct. Yes.
There's a space there where it looks like at once upon a time there was a tree in the space next door. I don't know if my other commissioners are seeing the same thing, saw the same thing.
You mean on the property itself or in the front of
right
the...
in front of the property where there's a grass area with nothing.
You want me to, let me bring up back the Google map, please. The tree you're talking about on the property?
Right here to the left, my left, our left, in front
Right here?
of the driveway, in front of your applicant's driveway. Come on over.
My applicant driveway, I'm looking at the Google map. The only thing I can see is a car being parked there.
Come.
This is the empty lot in question.
The house next door. There's a grass patch where the new cement has been laid. Not that house. That's not your applicant's house.
Yeah, this is the applicant's house.
Which one is your applicant's house? The one on the right or the one on the left?
The one on the left.
Right here, right?
Yes.
See that grass patch in front?
Yeah, I see the grass patch.
That's a great place for a tree.
I believe, to the best of my knowledge, up to this point that I'm showing in here, that is where the driveway ends. I don't know when that was cut down, or it was cut down before the house was built, but there's a green patch right here. That's what you're talking about, sir.
Which meant you never pull a car on that green patch because it's not a part of the driveway. It's a great location as a condition. If you can't put a tree in front of the new property, we can get a tree in front of the old property.
Yes, that's as a condition of approval, we will have a tree planted by on that space. Instead of paying into the fund, we'll put a tree there.
Commissioners, any questions in reference to the tree before we move on to the next tree variances?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Riviera or Comisarias? Who is that?
Comisarias.
Commissioner Comisarias.
Yeah, what's the total frontage of the new proposed home?
I can't hear what you just said, sir.
What is the total frontage of the
new one or the old one?
The new one.
27 feet.
27 feet. And you can't fit a tree in front of the steps like there was previously on the one next door.
If I go back to the drawing, I can show you the whole layout. Because the driveway takes about 10 feet, and then the stairs upstairs is about 5 to 6 feet wide. That is about 16. In between, there's some spaces, and then we have some of the utilities running right underneath that area. And then the key thing is like you don't want to plant any big tree on top of the utility pipes.
All right, no problem.
Commissioner.
Yes.
Riviera.
Just to reassure, we're asking the applicant to plant a tree on his other lot if possible, correct?
Correct.
Yes, that is what is being proposed, and now we will be, as a condition of approval, we'll be able to plant a tree there. Yes.
Perfect. That sounds great. Thank you.
Commissioner Hall.
Yeah. How many trees are required?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. Thank you.
We are going to take questions from the public in reference to the tree variance, tree waiver. Ms. Relaford, I follow.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Denise Relaford, Pavilion Apartments, City of Newark. Thank you, Commissioner Montford, because I drive past that area every day, and I always wonder why there is no tree in front of that house. And I see the lot, but if they're not going to be able to put a tree, I do agree with you, Commissioner Montford, that there needs to be a tree there. That's just an area that needs a tree. And, it can also use, more greenery or whatever, but we need a tree. The concept of constantly saying we're going to contribute to the tree foundation, that's all well and good. But we live in the South Ward and we deserve to have our community in that ward. looking, not like a desert, but something vibrant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions in reference to the tree waiver? As a condition of approval, we have asked the applicant
Yes.
to put a tree in the spot next door to the old property. Commissioner Commissar, yes.
Chair, do we know that there's not supposed to already be a tree there based on a previous approval?
Well, we can't go back and do that,
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Well, all right. If there's supposed to be one there already, it seems silly to make the same condition on a different application.
That will be a question for our professionals in the zoning office that will come back to us later, and we will deal with
Let us
that.
know too.
Commissioner Hall, that's an old hand.
That's all, Chair.
Mr. Babatunde, could we move to the next variance? I believe you have in reference to
The
rear yard setback, I think.
yes, the rear yard setback, we're supposed to provide 30 feet, and then we're providing 25.6 feet.
Why can't you provide the remaining?
With the way the structure that we're proposing, we needed to match the front yard setback. And then in addition to that, we needed to make sure that the building that we're providing, which exactly mimics the existing structure on the left side, to be able to provide 3 bedrooms on each floor, and then a kitchen, a multiple kitchen that includes both the living area and the kitchen together. And that's the reason why we shot that 4.4 feet of setback.
Is because of spacing within the kitchen and the bedroom, you're saying, based upon the
Yes,
design?
the layout of the building, and I can go down to the architectural plans. And then we have a bedroom at the rear, a bedroom on the side, another bedroom here. And then we have the dining room, and then the living area up front.
And in order to get that bedroom in the back, that's the reason you're falling the 3.2 feet short?
Yes, sir.
Any questions from the board in reference to the rear yard setback variance request? Any questions from the public in reference to the rear yard setback variance request? Mr. Hazel. Let's swear you in, Mr. Hazel. Mr. Plotter, swear him in. We can't hear either one of y'all.
Mr. Hazel, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will state the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state affiliation for the record.
Okay, Gerard Hazel, Haizel, board planner. I wanted to just ask Mr. Babatunde, what is the right now? You have basically a 25 by 100 lot, and the dimensions and bulk standards that were provided for in the ordinance basically are predicated essentially on that size lot. Generally, if you are requesting a variance, you need to show some sort of hardship or some sort of irregularity with the lot. If everyone that wanted to build to the specs that they wanted to build, then we would have no setbacks at all. Is there any other reason why this could not conform to the rear yard setback? You have a very generous front yard proposed, which I might add is also quite paved, but you have space in the front to pull up. And I do understand that you're trying to line up with the house on the left, but there's got to be more for the rationale behind it rather than what you would like to do, rather than what problem there is with the site itself. It's got to be related to the site.
Like it's practically I won't say impossible. It's really, really tough to build on an undersized lot. I believe that was the reason for new subdivision to have a minimum of 33 feet, and then that allows you to be able to widen the property or build a wider property.
I understand what you're saying in terms of an undersized lot, but that's my point. This lot isn't undersized, whereas a minimum lot size of 2,500 is permitted. This lot is actually 2,800. Whereas a width of 25 feet is required, this is 27. So you have the extra space, which is why I didn't understand why this could not conform to what was required.
There are two reasons that we're trying to make sure that we do match. The first thing is in terms of the minimum. Let me get back to the zoning chart. The minimum front yard that was established was based on the existing front yard in order to keep the same front yard of the buildings, because we didn't want our building to stick out further than the other one. That's why we have to make sure we match. But in terms of the minimum front yard that we needed about 6, but we're trying to match the front yard of the adjoining building. That's why we moved the building back, and that's the reason we shot at the back.
The ordinance requires that you match you have the prevailing setback between the properties on either side and use the lesser one. So you would be, according to the ordinance, need to match the setback of the building to the left, the blue building to the left. To the right, looking in front of your applicant's building, to the right of the site, which, as you can see, is set back significantly less than this one.
That's correct.
So
I don't understand your next question.
Yeah, no, in my professional opinion, I don't see the justification for that request in terms of the size of the setback. You have the space in the front. You can pull the building up. You don't even have to pull it all the way up. Pull it just so that you meet the setback.
Yes.
But I don't see any justification for that.
If as a condition of approval, we can move the building to the front we're just trying to match the one on the setback of the front setback of the property on the left. We can also match the setback of the property on the right, because the minimum allowed setback is 6 feet. So that property can come back. It's just in order to have uniformity. That's why we're matching the setback. But we can move the property to the front.
Thank you.
Yes, we can move the property to the front if it's a condition of approval. We can do that. And then the setback issue will not be required for the rear yard setback.
So as a condition of approval, you can move it further up in order to eliminate the rear yard setback.
All right, we move it exactly 4.4, I think it's about 4.6 feet, so that we can match, make sure that we have the required setback at the back. We'll do that.
No, noted. Commissioner Camasenias.
Just wanted to make sure that we ask for it as a condition.
Any further questions from the board in reference to the rear setback? We have a condition that was put on the table to move it up to eliminate the variance for a rear setback. Any questions from the public in reference to the rear yard setback? Hearing none, Mr. Babatunde, could you move to your next variance?
The next one is the lot coverage. We require 50%, and then we have a total lot coverage of 63.97. And then in order to mitigate the increase in lot coverage, we introducing a seepage pit so that all the roof water, all the rain water from the roof will go directly into the seepage pit.
So what you're saying is this lot coverage is in reference to the storm rainwater runoff?
Yes, sir.
That's why you need this?
No, I'm saying that because of the increase in lot coverage, that's why we're introducing a seepage pit to compensate for the increase in lot coverage, to mitigate it.
To mitigate the issue that would come forward if you don't.
That's correct.
Mr. Hazel. You're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry again to be a stickler to this, but again, for the same reasons as before, this is a larger than required lot. Okay, why is it not possible to meet the standard?
There are ways to because lot coverage is based on impervious area, and then there's some stuff that we can really do to reduce the amount of road coverage. The walkway can be changed to a paver, and also the driveway area can be done. The same thing can be done in that area, and that will greatly reduce the lot coverage.
But the lot coverage we're talking about here is not anything to do with the impervious coverage. The lot coverage here is a lot coverage by the building itself.
No, it's not the building. It's the total lot coverage. That includes the paved driveway, that includes the stairwell, that includes the building, and then the concrete walk.
So what, according to the ordinance, the lot coverage is the coverage by the building.
If it's the coverage by the building is roughly 1 second.
That's one of the reasons I asked in my thing that you provide that ensure that is accurate. If you're using a greater coverage than just the building, it's just the building that's required for this 50%. Impervious coverage is something.
The building by itself, if the impervious surface that you're referring to is the building by itself, it's less than 50%. Because the building area is 1271, and the total area of the property is 2,835. That means we don't require request for a variance for that. It's less than 50%.
Mr. Chair, can I just request that as a condition of approval, Mr. Adewami provide the accurate count for the the building coverage, because I did believe that it was less, but 63.9 was what was listed, so I had to go with that. But this would also eliminate this this variance.
Actually, the building coverage is 1271 square feet.
What percentage of that? What percentage of the lot area is that?
That is 1 second. Uh, 44%.
Okay, so variance number 2 is gone. That eliminates the lot coverage variance.
Mr. Hazel, for the record, can you repeat a little louder what just eliminated that variance?
Yeah, this is basically the coverage that was provided. Basically, did not the lot coverage that is the subject of the bulk standard that's in question. That basically is just the area of the lot that's covered by the building. And what the ordinance requires is that no more than 50% of the lot be covered by the building. And based on what Mr. Adewami is saying to us now, is that based on his calculations, the building itself covers, I think you said 24% of
No, but if the building itself covers 44%.
44.
44%. I'm sorry, 44%. So that is under the 50. So there's no need for a variance for that.
Thank you, Mr. Hazel. So that variance goes away because of a recalculation of
Just knocking them down.
All right, let's move to the primary front facade variance that's required.
The primary front facade is 30% is required. We're providing 28.42. And this can be used because we're talking about 1.6% difference if the borough will grant us a variance for that. But the way to further mitigate it is to provide additional window on the front facade. But that will pretty much disrupt the aesthetic view of the building. But if let me see again. What we can do here to mitigate the front facade requirement, we can increase the size of this window, and then that would eliminate the 1.4% that is required. That can be done.
Let's increase the size of the window. Is that accurate, Mr. Hazel?
That is accurate. And that would eliminate, because it's not such a big variance from what is required. And so that would, in fact, eliminate the need for that variance.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public in reference to the facade? Hearing none, the last one, parking.
We providing one parking space, and then there's enough space based on the old design before we 1 second. There is enough space to probably park a mid-size, not even a mid-size, like a small car in the front of the driveway, and though parking is not really allowed in front of the driveway, but with this kind of building, the only parking space that can be provided is just one parking space.
I have no questions or qualms with the parking issue. Any other commissioners have any questions in reference to the parking variance? Any questions from the public in reference to the parking variance? Ms. Juma? Officer Juma?
Good evening. This is Nana Juma speaking again. I have a question for the architect Babs. Can you repeat what you just mentioned about parking in front of the structure?
It's not our intent to park any car in front of the structure. That's why we're requesting for a variance for that. There's one parking space underneath the building, and then we have almost 18 feet in front of the property. But based on what we just discussed earlier on, to move the building to the front so that we can mitigate the rear yard setback, we will not be able to even park any car there. We'll be overhanging on the public property.
Okay, so that I'm clear and I understand, because there's a lot of variances being eliminated. You are moving the structure up closer to the front property line. And are you going to keep the rec room area the same size, same square footage?
And the driveway is 17.46 now. It's going to reduce to 13.46. So the owner at any time cannot see their car in front of the property because otherwise they will be on the public property. So as they open their garage. They just have to drive in straight.
Did you answer the question? I'm asking whether or not you're going to keep the rec rooms on the ground floor behind your parking space, the same size, same square footage.
I can't hear you. Can you repeat it, please?
Sure. I'm asking whether you would keep the area that you labeled recreational room on the ground floor behind your parking space, the same square footage, now that you're moving the structure closer to the front property line.
Well, one way or the other, my speaker is not working properly. I'm sorry, Nana, you're going to kill me. You're talking about the space in the front. Is that what you're asking about?
Chair, can you hear my question
Yes.
clearly?
What she's saying is, if you're bringing your front yard forward, will that reduce the square footage of the recreation room behind the garage area?
If I move the structure forward, what's the last thing you say, sir?
The recreation room on your design, if you go to the recreation room?
Yes.
Go to the recreation room. Will the square footage of this change once you move the project forward?
No.
That's the question she's asking.
No. Yeah, the recreation room, the nothing changed. It's just the whole building structure moved forward.
Okay, thank you.
Officer Juma, you have your answer?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Nana.
We have a question from the public, Ms. Rutherford.
Yes. Denise Relaford, Pavilion Apartments, City of Newark, New Jersey. So my question is about the recreation room. Is this recreation room going to have a half bathroom in it, or is this going to be a recreation room?
There's an half bath, which just the sink and the toilet, and that's it. Nothing else is attached to the bottom. And then only the owner from the first floor, supposedly owner occupied, only have access to that recreation room because there's a direct stairways from the second floor to the first floor.
Okay. And
can you see the screen?
yes, I can see the screen.
Yeah, there's an app right here, and this is the garage. You walk up one or two. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening, and I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
The other question is, Commissioner Montfort, as in previous other ZBA cases, is there any way we can make sure that this recreation room does not turn into a livable facility?
Ms. Relaford, we're going to come to
unit?
that. I believe, if I'm correct, Council, that will be a deed restriction.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. As a condition of approval, we're going to ask that this never be used as an apartment. You never add a full bathroom, and that it be a deed restriction on this property. You want to talk to your applicant about it for 5 minutes, or
no, we go with that because it wasn't our intent at any time to use it as an apartment or anything. No.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Hazel.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, I was just I mean, since we're knocking down the variances, Babs, did you consider, or is it possible to consider? I mean, I'm just trying to get the dimensions specifically that would be required. If you, and I believe that's where I thought that was where Ms. Juma might have been going, is that if you can pull the screen up a little bit so you can show the zoom out a little bit. Just zoom out. So you see both the rec room and the garage. You can zoom out. A little more, yeah. Okay. Is it possible that you can steal a little space from that rec room and basically accommodate another space, they have the parking in tandem. So that
Yes, of course.
so that would then eliminate your need for that parking variance. That would give you the
There's a space right here. I believe it's wider than 10 feet. And then if it's not,
but you got a lot of space in that rec room that you can steal a little space.
yeah.
Maybe
We can try, or we can not even try. We can make it possible to be able to, because there's a closet space here, and there's a door here. The door is about 3 feet, so we have enough room between
so you need to move everything sort of forward, sort of to the back, so just accommodate and whatever it is for parking.
Yes, we can do that. Yes.
All right. So that would thereby eliminate that variance as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
So
Commissioner Comisarias.
Chair, so I'm asking as a condition of approval. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can't hear you, Commissioner.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
So just can we formally ask that as a condition of approval, he agrees to accommodate putting in another space?
2 cars, yes.
We mentioned it, but we didn't ask it. So yes?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? Any other questions from the board? I mean, from the public? Hearing none, you could, if you have another witness, you can call that witness, or you can sum up.
I have the owner of the property is right there, but I will have called him in. I don't see any reason if there's any reason to bring him forward.
You may sum up.
He may come up.
Comisarias, is that an old hand?
Yeah, I'm just how many variances do we have left?
0.
We
eliminated everything.
We eliminated all the variances.
So I have a question, being that we know that this isn't an undersized lot. I think this is for our planner. Is there a way to provide a tree on the property? I mean, if we mirror it, if they flip it and put the utilities under the driveway, it would essentially be the same property. I mean, what's the?
You mean move them from where they're proposing underneath the walkway, so that the walk could you pull the site plan back up again, Babs?
Either completely flip the house so that the stairs and the driveway are replaced, the utilities would be under the driveway.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because that will give you that, similar to that little square patch on the neighbor's side on the left. That would give you that little square right on the sidewalk in front of where the walkway and the walkway is basically to the right of the garage of the driveway. You should have a space there that you should be able to accommodate at least one tree. Would you agree?
And that wouldn't change the facade glazing, and that wouldn't change the walkway.
No, that would be on the sidewalk, actually. It's a shade.
You guys want him to flip the steps?
No, you don't even need to flip the steps. You just basically put the
mirror the property.
What we're going to do to mitigate this is to take all this utility and put it underneath the driveway.
Yeah, on the driveway, correct.
On the driveway, and then that will give us a space right in front of the
exactly.
And then we can put a tree there, and then that eliminates
that would eliminate the shade tree.
Shade tree, and then we're done with all the variances.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner Comisarias.
You're welcome, sir.
You may sum up.
You just gave me additional work.
Do we still need to vote?
He's got to sum up. Mr. Babatunde?
Yes, you're expecting my summary. That's what
you may sum up.
We've more or less we have requested for a lot of variances in which redesigning with the board, and then with their comments, we're able to eliminate most of the variances, and that's good in a very good sense in that we'll have been able to go to the design phase directly. But good enough with your input, we've been able to make revisions in plan to make sure that we redo the drawing and then resubmit it as a condition of approval plans, and then at that point all their comments and everything will have been taken care of. The applicant is proposing to build a new three-family, the two-family on a vacant lot located on 592 Bergen Street. The property is located in the R3 zone, which is a permitted use. Despite that a site plan approval was not required, we prepared a site plan to identify the required variances. All the variances that we previously identified, we are more or less like all C variances. And good enough with your input, we're able to mitigate and find a solution in which we can eliminate all those variances. So in so doing, we're not requesting for any of the variances again. There's no undue hardship as per the C1 variance. And also, though the proposed derivation from zoning land use regulation will advance the purpose of the MLU, all those variances were kept in place. But we are not requesting a C2 variance also. The property has been vacant and abandoned for many years and has been an unpleasant site in the neighborhood, even with the effort of Mr. Olagadeyo cleaning of the premises. The property still remains a blight to the community. The improvement to this property will provide a positive visual environment to the neighborhood. The improvement to this property will benefit the community as a whole, not only the applicant of the property. Thereby we don't have any variance, but the approval of this plan or this project can be granted without substantial detriment to the public goods and without substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance of the city of Newark. The special reason why the granting of this approval is important or should be approved is the proposed development fits into the character of the neighborhood. Seeker identified 4 tests, which is special reason for variance. But luckily for us, with the redesign or the input of the board, we're not going to require any of these variances. But Seeker Board of Adjustment Township of World Standard identified a 4-part test. And then for many years, the vacant lot has been has provided unfavorable scenery to the neighborhood. By developing this property, we provide a positive visual environment to the neighborhood. There is no detrimental effect that would ensure from the granting of this variance, which we don't have. There is no condition required to be imposed, though there are some conditions that as a condition of approval that the board has more or less indicated, including the statement that has to go into the deed as to make sure that the recreation area is never used as a habitable place or as an apartment. The granting of this plan will not cause any substantial detriment to the public good. The prevalence of positive outweighs any apparent detriment to the public good. Therefore, the plan as presented to the board can be granted without any problem. By Medici versus BRB Co., we have met all the positive criteria. The proposed development meant the intent and purpose of this act is to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use of or development of all land in this state in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. To provide adequate light, air, and open space, to ensure that development of individual municipalities does not conflict with the development and general welfare of neighboring municipality, the country, and the state as a whole. to promote the establishment of appropriate population density and concentration that will contribute to the well-being of person, neighborhood, community, and region, and preservation of the environment. To promote the desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. Based on these facts that have been laid out, we're requesting an approval from the board.
Thank you. Any comments from any statements from the public? Please raise your hand. Mr. Follow, swear in, Mr. Potter.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will state the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your address for the record.
Denise Developer to follow, Pavilion Apartments, City of Newark, New Jersey. Commissioners, good evening. I like this proposal. I like the fact that the developer, the architect, is willing to make those changes to the suggestions that have been made by the board of the ZBA. So I am asking at this time to on the community behalf to approve this project. I think that this is something that would benefit the community, and I look forward to when I'm driving there once it's built to see a house there or something vibrant rather than a vacant lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, any further comments from the public? Hearing none, the board will go into discussion. Any discussion from the board?
Hello.
Commissioner Riviero.
We went over with so many little changes here that when I said he needs any voting here. That they're not asking for much if they're asking for anything anymore, so I will be in favor of this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Hall?
it's pretty straightforward. We eliminated the variances with the conditions of approval. On the record, I will be in favor of the application.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. Any other commissioners? At this time, I think it's a fairly good application. It brings another empty lot back onto the tax rolls officially with some development. We eliminated all of the variances that were brought before us. So at this time, I'll be in favor for it. I will take a nomination to approve or deny the application.
A motion to approve ZBA-23-56 located at 592 Bergen Street with conditions.
Second.
They have a
Motion.
I thought we had the tree next door.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Riviero, second by Commissioner David Campos. Call the roll, Madam Secretary.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Hardesty,
Yes.
Member Comesañas,
Yes.
Member Jones,
Yes.
Member Torres,
Yes.
Member Rivero,
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes. Congratulations, your application has been approved.
Thank you, sir.
Chair.
One quick question. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Do we still need to plant 1 tree or 2 trees?
Hang on, Babs.
2 trees would be nice.
Well, the application was approved and there was conditions, but and I think it's appropriate to vote on it given the conditions, but I would think if the applicant resubmits his plans, and the zoning officer confirms that no variances are needed, then I think it becomes moot in a sense, and he could just move forward in ordinary course, and we won't I don't know if we necessarily need to go through the whole process of memorializing a resolution and whatnot, but assuming if for whatever reason he doesn't meet a condition, then
Right, because the variances was eliminated.
Yes, we're going
so
to.
I think he should have an opportunity to resubmit, everything be confirmed, and then we can decide if he just proceeds in ordinary course, or or if we actually need an actual resolution and whatnot, because it would seem to be moot.
Right.
If he does everything he says he's going to
I
do.
have to agree with you, Council, because he had 4 variances, 3 that required, and 1 required a waiver, and we eliminated all those. So, what our council is saying is you should resubmit new plans with the eliminated variances to the zoning officer, and you may be able to move forward without, as if your applications were deemed approved without even having to come before this board.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Secretary, call the next application unless we need to go on break. Anyone needs to take a break? Let's move forward. Call the next application.
The time is now 7:48 p.m.
Good night, Gerard.
The
I'll
next
talk to you soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Go ahead, Madam Secretary.
Yes, the time is now 7:48. The next item on tonight's agenda is ZBA-23-60, located at 154 Adams Street, block 1978, lot 3 in the East Ward. The applicant is Elizabeth A. Freitas. In the C2 zone, the applicant proposes the operation of a check cashing establishment in an existing commercial space with 2 residential units above. Applicant is seeking a D1 use variance. Site plan approval is not required.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Counselor, are you in?
Good evening, good evening, sir.
All right. Will your team please have your team raise their hand so that they may be brought into the panel? And once they are invited in, please accept the invitation so that you may be brought into the panel.
Good evening. I need Elizabeth Freitas, John McDonough, and Jose Gennaro.
While they're coming in, I'm going to read the finding of facts.
Yes, sir.
The Board of Adjustment made the following findings of facts with respect to 154 Adams Street, which is located in Newark's Ironbound neighborhood between Lafayette and Elm Street. The total site area is approximately 2,500 square feet. The surrounding land use consists of mixed-use structures with commercial uses on the first ground floor and residential above. I see Mr. Gennaro. I see Mr. McDonough. I'm not seeing the other person you spoke of.
It was Elizabeth Freitas, but we could probably proceed even without her, to be honest with you. I could answer the questions.
You may open. Hold on. I'm sorry. Are there any objectors for this in reference to this application 154 Adams Street? Please raise your hand. Accept the invitation so that we may bring you into the panel. I see one attendee, Madam Secretary. Do you?
Yes, we're raising it.
Are there any supporters of the application for 150? Is it 153 or 154? 154 Adams Street. Please raise your hand and accept the invitation so that we may bring you into the panel.
What do you want to say?
Transamerica's is actually my client. That's Elizabeth.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go.
You can go on
Counselor,
mute.
you may proceed with your opening statement.
Thank you so much. My name is Rick Montero. I'm an attorney in Newark and proud of it for the last 32 years. I represent Elizabeth Freitas, which has been a member of our community for 30 plus years as a business owner and as also lives in the community. She's seeking to make some interior alterations to existing commercial retail space and convert it to use as a check cashing establishment. We're in a C2 zone, which is commercial, but we're not permitted. Thus, a D1 variance is required to permit the proposed check cashing establishment in that zone. To that end, I have our architect, Jose Gennaro, who's present, as well as Mr. McDonough, who's our planner. With regards to questions that were posed to us as recommended conditions of approval from Mr. Hazel, I would respond with regards to the day-to-day operations of the establishment. He asked for hours of operation, number of employees, and security measures that would be implemented in the event that your board would be so generous as to grant this approval. The number of employees is contemplated to be 3. The hours of operation are contemplated to be Monday to Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Because it is a check cashing establishment, we intend to contract with a armored car service. Theoretically, now we're looking at National Secure Transport LLC, and with respect to security, we're building iron plates on the walls, bulletproof glass, and also hiring a security company in the event that you were so gracious as to grant us approval. To that end, our first witness would be Jose Gennaro.
You're Mr. Gennaro. Counsel, would you swear him in?
Yes. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name, spell your last name, and state your affiliation for the record.
Okay, Jose Gennaro, Gennaro. I'm a registered architect and planner in the state of New Jersey, and my office is at 193 New York Avenue in Newark, New Jersey.
Mr. Gennaro, are you currently, and your license is in good status?
Yes, I am.
Have you appeared before this board and been qualified in the past?
Yes, I have several times.
We will accept Mr. Gennaro as an architect. He has appeared here before.
Mr. Gennaro, can you please describe the proposed project?
Sure. What we have here is an existing.
Mr. Gennaro, before you share, do we have this in? Do our secretary have this, or will this be Exhibit A?
Mr. Gennaro, did you submit your plans? If not, we'll mark them as Exhibit A.
Yes, they were submitted. Yes, as far as I know. Yes.
To the extent necessary, we would respectfully mark them as Exhibit A.
You may proceed, Mr. Gennaro.
Okay. So we have, it's an existing 25 by 100 lot. It contains a 2.5-story building. The first floor has a commercial space, which is the space that we're proposing to use, and an apartment behind it. And the second floor has a second apartment. So there's 2 apartments and 1 commercial space. The commercial space, I'll bring in, I guess I'll share the floor plan that was submitted.
As part of Exhibit A, correct?
Yes. Is anyone seeing it?
No, sir.
Oh, boy.
Good screen share, though. There you go.
It work?
You may want to enlarge it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That
If that's the best you can do, why don't you go on Exhibit A and tell us what you have?
I can share.
We lost your screen.
Oh.
I think Sylvia's going to do it.
There it is. Okay.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Gennaro, looking at Exhibit A, can you please describe what exists there now and what we're proposing to do?
Yes, right now, like I said before, the space is about 483 square feet. You come in from the front Adam Street. There's a porch. There's a steps come up to a porch. On the left side, you have a door that leads to the apartment on the second floor. On the right side, there's the entrance to the commercial space. The space will be made up of it is three parts. You have the customer area and the entrance in the beginning, and then you have the counter, service counter, behind bulletproof glass, and you have a toilet for the employees, and then you have a private office at the rear of the space, and that's about it. That's the extent of the work to be done. It's all interior alterations. Nothing will change in the exterior of the building. It will look exactly the same.
So the only variance we're requesting here is a use variance,
The
correct?
use, that's correct, right. We are in a C2 zone, as it was mentioned. Check cashing establishments are not permitted.
Okay. We have Mr. McDonough who's going to testify, but you're also a professional planner, you said, correct?
Right, that's correct, yes.
So if we're looking at this in terms of balancing, what is your professional opinion on it?
I think it fits with the rest of the block. That I'm very familiar with this block. My office is about 3 blocks away from here. It's this kind of use. There's commercial at the bottom, at the first floor, and then there's apartments, residential above. You know, it's offices. There's commercial, the retail. So there's a little bit of everything. Restaurants.
So in your professional opinion, as also a planner, in addition to being an architect, do you agree that it will not have a substantial adverse impact on the surrounding area?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. I would submit Mr. Gennaro to any questioning that the board or members of the public would have.
Commissioners, any question for the architect? Seeing none?
If there's no questions, then my second witness would be John McDonough.
Mr. McDonough, are you here with us?
See his name, his camera's off.
Yep.
He must be driving.
He's on mute too.
You have anyone else you would like to call, and we can come back to Mr. McDonough?
I don't, unless Mr. Hazel doesn't accept the representations that I made in response to his questions. Again, with regards to the day-to-day operations, we're looking with the board's approval, if permitted, 3 employees, hours of operation Monday to Saturday, 10 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 5 p.m. With regards to security measures, we'd be employing a money transport service, someone like Secure Transport LLC. In regards to security, we're also looking to hire a security company to deal with the day-to-day activities. Mr. McDonough, are you there?
Mr. Montero, Counselor.
Yes, sir.
You're Gennaro for access. This is a check cash in place. I heard employing a security company. Will there be any cameras?
We will install cameras, of course, in the normal course. That's part of typical security measures. There will be bulletproof glass as well as iron plates on doors. There'll be an emergency alarm. And my client's idea, obviously, is to have a security guard on premises also.
I don't know if you can answer it, or you may want to call your client, but very rarely do we have check cashing places open on Sundays. So it's kind of interesting. I would like to know the rationale between the Sunday operations.
So, without calling her, but I can generally speak on her behalf. The idea was to service the community of which she's been a part of 30 years. However, if the board deems that to be something that's out of the ordinary, we don't oppose to vacating that request for Sunday 10 to 5.
It's out of the ordinary, but it's not something that's a deal breaker. It's just unusual. So I wanted to understand the rationale.
Yeah. So the idea is my client's been in the community for 30 plus years, and she knows that unfortunately a lot of the people that she thinks would be clients and or patrons of the establishment have hours that keep them beyond the 7 p.m. and believes that Sunday would be a day that would make it convenient for them to employ her services. However, like I said, if the board deemed that to be that's something that they're not comfortable with, Again, we're fine with whatever recommendations and or conditions that you would impose.
I do have a question for Mr. Gennaro. Where do staff enter? Where do staff is there a secure area where staff enter, or do staff come through the same front door and have to be buzzed into the counter servicing area? Where do staff enter the work facility?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Staff. How do staff get behind the counter? Is there a back door, or do they
Yes,
go through
there is a door, a separate lock, usually locked door to get into the back. Yes, and also the front door. I don't know if it was mentioned. It's electronic, so nobody they could see who's coming in, and they let people in that way.
Can you bring your screen back up and show us that entrance? Because just as concerned, if the process, if I follow your staff member to the door, and at gunpoint, I just want to know what the security measure is for staff entering the check cashing, because we've all been to a check cashing facility and seen the different styles of how people enter into the facility.
Well, I somewhere else maybe can answer that better than
Just
I
state
can.
your name, Mr. Gennaro, for the record, so we'll know who's speaking.
Jose Gennaro. I would think that the staff would come in when nobody's in there, when there's no customers, and then they'll be back there, and they work during the day. That's about it. I don't know what else they could do to secure that, or make sure when they come out that there's no one there, something like that.
Yeah, so there's the ability, would you not agree?
Are you testifying, counselor? Are we gonna have to swear you in as a professional?
No, Commissioner. I'm just asking if you permit it.
The question is, Mr. Gennaro, I'm looking at, it says existing entrance to basement, existing entrance to second floor apartment.
Right.
Where is the actual entrance to the business?
It's in the center. It's between those two, the stair to the basement. There's a door there. We show the front door with an exit light and emergency light. That's the door to the business. It goes directly into the business.
Next to the entrance to the basement.
The entrance to the basement goes off the sidewalk. It's not up on the porch level. It's at a lower level.
All right, because I get it now. I wish you would have just labeled it so we got a better view.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gennaro.
Okay, no
Mr.
problem.
McDonough, are you with us?
I just contacted Mr. McDonough. He asked if we could get 10 minutes because he's in another hearing in a different town.
All right, we're gonna
Just a brief recess. We
we're
sincerely
gonna take a 5-minute recess and come back.
thank you so much for that. I appreciate the accommodation.
Recording stopped.
Eu achei muito fraco o italiano.
No sé qué hacer. Podemos encontrar
Start heading back.
I apologize on behalf of Mr. McDonough. He says he's in another town. Yeesh.
How would you like to proceed, Council?
Recording in progress.
If the board can extend this a little bit of courtesy, I'm sure Mr. McDonough will join us shortly.
As soon as my council get back, we will let you know what we're going to do. Mr. Plato, are you back?
Yes.
Is it okay if we pause and recall this application?
I think just maybe the last application. Do you want
Is this
to
the last
take like?
application, or did we have an adjournment? I missed something. Miss.
Yeah, that was an adjournment.
Oh, okay. So
Maybe we could take up resolutions and minutes, get that out the way.
all right, we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause hearing this application.
Thank you.
And on the advice of our council, move to the closing section of the agenda, and then hopefully Mr. Madonna will be available after that.
I'll reach out to him again. I appreciate the courtesy.
Thank you. Isso aqui não é agora, gente.
Mr. Plata.
Yeah, there's 4 resolutions.
We have 4 resolutions.
Yep.
Madam Secretary, how many minutes do we have?
1.
1.
Do you want to begin now or is everyone
At
back?
this time, we're going to pause the hearing of application ZBA 23-6154 Adams Street, and we're going to move towards our memorialization of resolutions and minutes, and then hopefully by that time we will come back and continue the application for ZBA-23-60. Councilor Plata?
Yes, the first resolution is ZBA 21-84, which was 917 Bergen Street.
Are there any concerns, corrections for that memorialization? Hearing none, call the roll.
Member Hall.
Yes.
Member Hardesty.
Yes.
Member Comesañas.
Yes.
Member Jones.
Yes.
Member Rivero.
Yes.
Member Torres.
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes.
The second resolution is ZBA 20-53, which was 124 Mapes Avenue.
Are there any corrections, concerns? Call the roll.
Member Hall.
Yes.
Member Hardesty.
Yes.
Member Comesañas.
Yes.
Member Jones.
Yes.
Member Rivero.
Yes.
Member Torres.
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes.
The third resolution is ZBA 23-80, which is 7173 Lindsley Avenue.
Any corrections, any concerns? Hearing none, call the roll.
Member Hall.
Yes.
Member Hardesty.
Yes.
Member Comesañas.
Yes.
Member Jones.
Yes.
Member Rivero.
Yes.
Member Torres.
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes.
The last resolution is ZBA 23-11, which was 5355 Leslie Street.
Any concerns, any corrections? Hearing none, call the roll.
Member Hall.
Yes.
Member Hardesty.
Yes.
Member Comesañas.
Yes.
Member Jones.
Yes.
Member Rivero.
Yes.
Member Torres,
Yes.
Chair Mumford,
Yes. Memorialization of minutes.
yes, the June 13th minutes.
Any concerns, any corrections? Hearing none, call the roll.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Hardesty,
Yes.
Member Comesañas,
Yes.
Member Jones,
Yes.
Member Rivera,
Yes.
Mute your phones, please. I mean, mute. Go on mute, please.
Member Torres,
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes. At this time, I see Mr. McDonough has arrived. We will go back to application ZBA 23-60-154 Adams Street. Once again, Mr. McDonough, the planner for the applicant, has arrived, and we will resume hearing application ZBA 23-60. Counselor Montero?
Mr. McDonough is present.
We're waiting on you. You may
Yes,
call
sir.
your next witness.
John McDonough, please.
Yes, Mr. McDonough, do you solemnly swear to or affirm that testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your affiliation for the record.
John McDonough, MC, capital DONOUGH, and I'm the project planner, the Tardy project planner.
Party. Mr. McDonough, you've been previously qualified earlier this evening, correct?
Yes.
Would the board accept?
Yes, Mr. McDonough has testified before this board before. Mr. McDonough, your licenses are up to date.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman, yes.
You may proceed, Captain.
Mr. McDonough, can you please tell us about our project here and the variances required, and also give us your expert opinion?
Sure. The primary relief that the applicant is asking the board to move on is a D1 use variance for a check cashing facility, which is not a permitted use in the C2 zone. It is a permitted use in the C3 zone, so the degree of departure from your zoning ordinance is not substantial. You've heard the testimony before me. I'm going to put on the screen here, on the screen share, just to orient the board again with our subject site. It's not a large site. It's a relatively small site here in Ironbound.
Mr. McDonough, we're going to mark this as Exhibit A2.
A2, please.
A2 for the record is just a screenshot of what we saw out on the site today, a little bit before 2 o'clock. It's a fair and accurate representation of the site, relatively modest building, relatively modest space. This check cashing facility conversion is certainly not going to overpower the area, but integrate nicely. It is a walkable location and will certainly cater to a population as an alternate to a bank or other financial institution. That would go towards the purpose A of the land use law, the promotion of the general welfare. Also, our planning goal to provide for a variety of uses in appropriate locations according to the needs of all New Jersey citizens. Purpose M, the efficient use of land, and really, to a certain extent, purpose I, we're not changing or altering the visual environment of what's already there presently. Again, in the context of the neighborhood, this is a small building. This is going to be a relatively boutique operation, not going to cause any substantially adverse impacts from a functional standpoint, from a visual standpoint. And as I said before, the degree of departure from the zone scheme is not substantial. We're in C2. It's allowed in C3. It's a walkable area. It is certainly going to lessen the reliance on the automobile in this space here because it would cater to a local neighborhood type of market. And in that regard, we believe the statutory test for the D1 use relief is met here. Any other relief, I think that was the only relief that was called out in your planner's report, would fold into the benefits of the application as a whole. Again, given the relatively small size of the space, this will have minimal, if any, impacts on the neighborhood. And that's all I have on direct.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. We submit Mr. McDonough any questioning of the public or the board.
Are there any questions for Mr. McDonough in reference to 154 Adams Street from the board? Any questions from our professionals? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, you may proceed, Councilor.
One, thank you for accommodating Mr. McDonough's busy schedule. I would respectfully submit that the D1 variance, which we're requesting, be granted based on the testimony that's been before you.
Thank you. Are there any statements from the public?
Yes, I have a statement. Can you hear me?
Please raise your hand. I don't see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the raise the hand button, but I don't see it anymore.
Ms. Mahia, is she a part of the panel?
Yes, the person by the screen name Samsung.
Yeah, I'm trying to raise my hand, but that option disappeared when you let me in the room.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Mr. Plata.
Yes. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will state the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I will.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and state your address for the record.
Angel DeAndrea, DIANDREA. I live at 152 Adam Street.
Are you able?
Ma'am, at this time, you may make a statement whether you're for, why you're for, or why you're against this application.
I am very concerned about the application. First of all, for a cash checking place. This is a very high volume walking area. That property is a small alleyway from where I reside, and I'm just concerned.
Thank you, ma'am. Does that complete your statement?
Yes, it does.
Thank you for coming out. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none or seeing none, the board will now go into discussion. Commissioner Comsanius.
In terms of the neighborhood, I mean, there's a growing population of people who need to use check cashing places in the Ironbound community. So I think it being accessible easily via public transportation, it's suiting a need that's increasing in the area. It makes sense to approve the application.
Thank you, Mr. David.
Thank you, Commissioner Comsanius. Commissioner Riviero.
I am gonna echo David Comisaya's words. Basically, I think there's a maybe colony of people migrating this area to maybe getting checks that they need to cash on late hours. I don't have anything against the hours they're implementing. I don't see how this could be a hazard somehow for the neighbors. I really don't. It's a business there now. They're gonna do all the safety protocols as needed. Windows and so on. I will be in favor of this application.
Thank you, Commissioner Riviero. Commissioner Hall.
Yes, I agree with my fellow commissioners. I first of all, let me go back and say I thank the public for always helps us informed decision about what's going on. In this case, I'd like to note that one of the things I believe I heard is that we're going to have security, possibly I think I heard armed person inside. And in addition to that, cameras. So if anything, that helps make the neighborhood safer and the area around it. And there is an extreme need for people to have access to a place today. The reality of the situation here in Newark, here in New Jersey, and across the country. So,
thank you, Commissioner Hall. Any other commissioners? I will go. One thing I understand about our city is, as much as we've made it possible to assist people with asking local banks to help our citizens open up bank accounts, there's some who are still very old school and reluctant to do so. Check cashing place is still a major need and a part of our society right here in the city of Newark. I think It won't be a detriment to the neighborhood. I thank the public for coming out, but as she said, it's a very high walking district, which meant you will still get many individuals who use the check cashing place. And there's a lot of people who, as much as this board fight for wash and dryers to be in apartments, there's a lot of people who need quarters on the weekends and quarters on Sundays. What better place than to be able to go to a check cashing place and get those quarters or change that may be needed? Or you may have gotten an individual who may have gotten a check and they don't bank with TD Bank, which is open on Sunday, and they need to cash their check. So I'll be in favor of this application. If there's no other comments in discussion, I will take a motion from the board to approve or deny the application at this time.
Motion to approve ZBA -23-60 154 Adams Street.
Commissioners Camasayas, can I get a second?
Second.
I heard Commissioner Hall, and I believe that was Commissioner Jones.
Sorry.
Torres. Call the roll, Madam Secretary.
Member Comesañas,
Yes.
Member Jones,
Yes.
Member Rivera,
Yes.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Hardesty,
Yes.
Member Torres,
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes. Congratulations, your application has been approved.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the accommodations.
I believe that was our last application for this evening.
Yeah.
Mr. Plata, is there any reason for us to go into executive session at this time?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, we are going to be going to executive session. Before we close out for the night, can I get a motion to convene to executive session?
Move it.
Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Jones, call the roll.
Member Hall,
Yes.
Member Hardesty,
Yes.
Member Comesañas,
Yes.
Member Jones,
Yes.
Member Rivera,
Yes.
Member Torres,
Yes.
Chair Mumford.
Yes, can we remove everyone that does not belong in executive session at this time?
Yeah.